MicroStation offers a selection of specialized annotation tools, and they're contained in 4 different toolboxes. Let's open these and see what's available. Go to Tools and Toolboxes, and we'll start with the Annotation toolbox. Click on that. Don't say OK yet. We have 3 more to go. Next one is called Cloud. Click on that. Next one is Detailing Symbols. And the 4th one is right at the bottom, XYZ Text. Say OK. And the 4 toolboxes display on the screen. Now you'll need to take a close look at each one in turn to see if any of them relate to your specific drafting needs. But I want to show you the first one on the Detailing Symbols box, just as a sample. So we'll start with this called the Place Section Callout, which is obviously going to place a section marker. And next to it we have a Place Detail Callout, Place Elevation Callout, a Drawing Title, and Place Title Text, plus an odd one which is placing a cloud on the drawing as a notification marker. Back to the first one, click on that. In the Tool Settings window, make sure all 3 options are off to start with, especially Create Dynamic View. That really relates to 3D work. If you look at the status line, it says Define Start Point for the Callout, and I've drawn just a simple rectangular box here to represent a drawing detail. So I will left click and drag, and I'm dragging the callout placement line left click to place. When I've placed it, you'll notice that there is a rectangular box around the actual callout itself with some symbols. Now again, most of the information here relates to 3-dimensional work and is not particularly applicable to 2D. In fact, if we were in a 3D drawing and looking at a 3D object, placing this section callout could generate different views of this solid object automatically for us. But in 2D work, of course, we simply have a 2D drawing with no 3D aspects at all. So you could ignore the blue icons which move this clipping plane backwards and forwards and up and down. They really have no effect in 2D. The green arrow, however, will move the actual section callout to any position you wish. So you certainly can use that. Left click in the drawing, callout's in place. And if we zoom in, you'll see that we already have identifier text in the bubble. This text is obviously editable, and you can use either the Edit Text tool if you intend to edit several bubbles, or simply double-click the text and the text editor pops up and you can change the text in the boxes. I'll dismiss that for the moment. If you select the actual callout itself and right-click, in this section here, you can modify the actual callout itself. For example, let's do a couple of things here. Let's create a step and then let's flip the direction. Let's create a step first. This now becomes a stepped section. So let's select the middle, drag over, left click, and we have a stepped section. Let's flip it, do the same thing, right click, select flip, and the section flips in the opposite direction for us. So fairly straightforward. As a matter of interest, that flip part, when we were first placing that section callout, we could have flipped this before we actually place it. So right now I'm still dragging this. And notice, by the way, that you can turn the section to a suitable angle if necessary. But I can flip the arrows right now in the Tool Settings window before I place it. Let's take that back again. Flips back again and placed again. Now the components of this section callout, which are obviously being placed automatically, are actually cells. So the callout itself, the bubble, the text, are cells, which if you're used to AutoCAD, you would call them blocks. We'll be discussing cells in later videos. And the advantage of a cell, of course, is that you can open the cell and change the elements therein. to provide custom symbols with custom text if you wish. Now, the size of the cell is predetermined by the cell drawing itself, and you may well need to change the height of the text under different conditions. And that's usually done through the annotation scale facility, which again we'll be discussing in later videos. So right now, we're placing these various callouts with the default cells and the default text. So please take some time to go through each of the tools in the 4 toolboxes. You'll find that most of them are really quite self-explanatory and easy to apply. Don't be afraid to experiment.